Almaty, Kazakhstan, the Balwan Sholak, a palace of culture and sports. Past winners in the IWF World Weightlifting Championships. You can see that Tatiana Kasharina, who is the big favorite for today, has been right up there and is the reigning champion. Now the world records, 151, 192, 334. Very possible today. Very possible, especially that clean and jerk. I say possible. The record holder isn't here. Zhu Lulu did that at the Asian Games just 7 or 8 weeks ago, but the woman she took it off of, took it off by just 1 kilogram, is here, Tatiana Kasharina. Now we've heard she's in great shape and she's looking to get that world record back. So 151 is Kasharina's snatch world record. Be interesting to see how close to that she goes if she's in really good shape. She did that at the Olympic Games in London, and she's got the overall total record as well. 334, did that at the President's Cup in 2013, and then Zhu Lulu stealing her clean and jerk record. So perhaps 193 today. We'll have to wait and see. Our first lifter expected out is Ripsame Khurshudyan of Armenia. Snatch and the clean and jerk, 3 attempts in each of those 2 disciplines. Added together gives you the total and the overall world champion. There are medals up for grabs in each of the individual disciplines. 3 lifts, rising bar. So Khurshudyan, 100 kilograms. Everyone over 100 kilos in this A group category. 12 women are competing. From the B group previously, they're chasing 114, so that's why it says if she gets it, she'll only be ranked 9th. Well, alongside me, Colin Bryce, Michaela Breeze. Michaela, seems a long way, nice lift, but a long way off what we'll see in this snatch. There's a big difference, isn't there, in the women's supers between the very best and outside the top 3 or 4, and then a bigger drop down to 10, 11, 12.
Yes, there is. This is only 100 kilos. A few years ago, we would have been looking at this weight as a huge snatch for a woman in this category, but now 100 is being lifted by those in the 53, 58, 63, all of the categories really from about 53 upwards. So 100 at a body weight of plus 75 is not overly impressive on this platform.
Well, the people we're looking at here are those that went in the B and C groups earlier. So the Mexican on top with 114, that's a very good effort from a B group lifter. There is Kasharina, the Russian. She's weighing in around about 107 kilograms in body weight. It's steadily gone up over the years, no massive increases, but as she's stuck on more muscle, she's just put on 1 kilo or 2 each year. She's not the biggest though, 133, one of the Thai girls, Kenjan Shok. Khurshudyan following herself just 2 kilos up.
Well, there's something wrong here because she has a personal best of 128. Huge total, 294, but she's only posted a 245 at this championships. I'm guessing maybe had some time out or coming back from injury. We can see that her shoulder is fairly heavily strapped. Looks very comfortable, and you have to question what the problem is. There's definitely some issue.
Well, of course, there are a number of lifters that have been dragged out, perhaps not of retirement, but of injury early, just to get some points on the board, because we are accruing team points towards Rio at this World Championships. I know it's 2 years away, but that's perhaps what she's up to here.
Well, this slows the competition down as well. Technically, pretty good, really good position underneath the bar, but the rest of the athletes now will be trying to time their warm-up to perfection so that they finish their last warm-up attempt just a couple of minutes before they're called to the platform.
Alexandra Perez Reveron of Venezuela coming out for 103. Very good. 5th at the World Championships in 2013. A 111. Her best in the snatch. Good clean and jerker as well. 142 there. Having said that, 142 now, when you look at the very best, it's actually below Katarina's opening snatch at most competitions. Amazing.
It really is. I mean, there we are, 99 kilos was the heaviest weight snatched from the women's 53 category. So girls weighing half of the body weight of the girls that we're seeing here have been lifting very similar weights. So let's let the first few lifters go through, and then we should be up to some more impressive lifting.
If you look back at early women's world championships and the change of bodyweight categories to plus 75 from the old weight that used to be plus 82. Well, back in 92, the world record in snatch was for the super heavies 115 kilograms, and it's gone all the way up over 150 now. Amazing how much it's accelerated away. Next up will be the Korean Son Young-gi, 105 kilograms on the bar, so actually a kilo and a half below body weight.
Well, these are some good positions that the bigger girls are able to get into. Flexibility is paramount in this sport. Try it at home. Just get yourself a broomstick or a towel or something and try and sit in that deep squat position. See how low you can go, keeping your heels on the floor before you fall over. Then try catching a substantial weight overhead. It does require tremendous flexibility in the ankles, knees, hips, shoulders.
Yes, I remember a Russian super heavyweight warming up with just a small weight over his head, just walking around the gym in that squatted position, just to practice the flexibility and moving in that position. Now this is Shimamoto of Japan, 105 kilograms.
Again, very comfortable. Really want to see these girls. Oops. Nearly stacked it. I want to see these girls really pushing themselves. They are looking super comfortable at the moment. Just see that the standard of lifting in this group from Tatiana Kasharina of Russia, she and the Chinese girl have just set the bar so much higher, and I don't think it will be long before we see a lot of the other super heavyweights in the women's division aspiring to those kind of weights. I think they've seen what's possible and now need to step up their game. It's the second of the two Russians. Konovalova. In comparison, she's only weighing 88.28, so she's only just really out of the category below. It's quite kind of a difficult body weight. 88, do you come down to 75, which is, you know, a good 13 kilos to lose, or do you try and compete with the big girls? So Konovalova is in no man's land with her body weight at the moment.
Yes, but I guess the Russians, we don't tend to see them in the really light categories, but then they try and stack the heavy categories, and if they can get gold, silver, get as many medals out of the heavies as possible. Now Koshudyan, 107 for her final.
Well, 3 out of 3.
Well, if she has been injured and has been well down on what she has been doing in the past and has been dragged out of retirement, as you like, for team points, she certainly looks very confident, doesn't she? They look like reasonably light weights for her, and she's gone through the motions and done 3 out of 3.
First attempt.
So the women's supers continues. Ioanai of Romania, 108. She weighs in at 105, so 3 kilos above body weight. When it comes to the supers, it's about out and out weight.
Good lift. Salma.
Body weight is forgotten. You can have anyone from 76 kilograms up to double that quite often in the women's supers. Huge differences.
And we do have a huge difference in body weights just in this group today. Khurshudyan, that we've just seen from Armenia, who was successful with 3 out of 3, is the lightest lifter on 87 kilos. And the heaviest lifter, Tiger, weighing 133 kilos. So
133, yeah, that's well, over 20 stone if you're back in the UK watching. So very big indeed. And 87 kilos. That's a long time since I was 87 kilos, but I think that's about 13 stone. Something like that. So yes, big difference. In fact, no, a bit more than that.
Meng, the second-ranked Chinese athlete, having the opportunity to step up onto the world stage in the absence of her teammate and world record holder.
Yeah, nice for her to get an opportunity finally. Zhu Lulu of China has dominated the scene for a long time, certainly in China and even in the world. 2011 world champion, of course Olympic champion as well, pushing Kasharina down to second on both of those occasions. And actually, it just reminds us that Khurshudyan was the silver medalist at the London Olympics. She hasn't actually lifted since then. So we've already seen her do all 3. We're still down on what the B group did earlier. So Perez Reveron coming for 110. The first one looked very comfortable. Now this is just a kilo away from her personal best.
Vamos, estírate completo, mueve los pies, Narjuri, velocidad y altura. Ahí, guapea, guapea.
Oh, so nearly held it. Sensible decision to let go. You can just see that look at the elbow. Puts the shoulders and the elbows under so much strain when the bar's going backwards. It's all too tempting to try and hang on to it at this level. Just watch the bar going back, holding, holding, holding. Just letting go before she damages the elbow too badly. Let's hope she hasn't hurt herself. It does require tremendous functional control, functional stability to stabilise in that position.
Mami Shimamoto of Japan coming out for her second 110.
Elbows buckled. Bar was out in front. It's a shame because that would have brought her within 3 kilos of her best.
Well, she can have a second crack at that. She might even go up. Buy herself some time because Perez Rivero, well, actually Perez Rivero is going to stay on 110, so she's probably going to have a couple of minutes anyway, so perhaps a sensible move is just to stay at that.
Yeah, I would say so.
So Rivero, her third and final. Just relax, the coach is saying there. It's difficult, you have to explode and relax all at the same time in snatch. And now it's gone over the back again.
Well, that's a shame. Yeah, we talk about explode and relax. People back home probably thinking, well, how do you do that?
A bit of an oxymoron, really, isn't it?
The explosion has got to come from glutes and quads as the bar passes the knees, exploding powerfully with those big muscle groups. But at the same time, whilst maintaining good tension in the back, try and relax from the arms all the way down through to the bar. Create almost an elastic effect with the arms, allowing the legs to drive forcefully. And that's how you get maximal float on the bar.
Yes, a very similar situation, of course, it's commonly known as the sprinter must do such a powerful sprint with his or her body, but then relax the face, relax the traps, not too much tension, which is very difficult when you're going at 100%. Now, Shimamoto, 110 again, her third and final.
Well, that was better. The lift before wasn't far out. Really pleased that she's managed to nail that on a third attempt.
On the bar, 111 kilogram, first attempt, Anastasia Lysenko, Ukraine.
A bit of relief on her face there. She's hit 110. We're still behind the B group lifters, though. Mascoro of Mexico, 114.
First international competition, first attempts, Anastasia Lysenko. Please welcome.
Anastasia Lysenko, 111 on the bar. She's the only junior in this super heavyweight category, 19 years old, the Ukrainian.
Didn't sit into a full squat position, dropped her chest. Didn't look overly comfortable overhead.
Yeah, a little bit of a nervous smile as she walked off there. Big moment for her, and she's certainly pulling it high enough. She knows that.
Well, the Russians are renowned for being super strong. Just jumping back from the bar, leaving it out in front.
Just a moment or two with her coach.
Talking about Russians, sorry, I'm referring to the Eastern Bloc. What's wrong with me, definitely.
Oh, well, it's because you started during the Soviet era, right? No, I'm not joking.
No.
No. Osuna, there she is, up the top, Mexico. Still holding strong from the B group. I have to say, it's a very strong B group, wasn't it?
It was, 114 snatch. It's going to put her right up there in the results from the A group. 141 clean and jerk as well. Really, you've got to look at the weights that the girls are lifting in the A group and question why one or two of them are here, and likewise why one or two of the B group were not. But it all comes down to the entry total that they posted. The rules specify the starting weights have to add up to within 15 kilos. It's all within the rules.
So Lysenko going for 111 again. She's certainly got the power.
Wow, again, jumping back and dropping the chest. Lysenko from the Ukraine is now finding herself in a vulnerable position. The coaches are saying, it's okay, just relax. You can do this. Better attempt, but that 2 or 3 inch jump backwards has just left the bar in front.
There's one of our Thai girls. So, Sapsak and Kenjak-chuk. They are 22 and 23 years old, and they're actually got some big numbers. Kenjak-chuk 120 her expected start, and Sapsakol is coming in at 126. But Kasharina is then the next expected entrant. She'll no doubt come in last. From 126, we go all the way up to 145 if she comes in. And of course, actually, Meng has put her start weight up, 133. So actually, there is one between them. So obviously, it's going well for the Chinese. Actually, Meng has put a start in the clean and jerk for 178. There's the other Russian.
Well, Konoval over there. 100 kilos on the bar, just putting the final few lifts to her preparation. She's posted a 115 to come out on. Well, Perez Reveron of Venezuela, having tweaked that elbow after her second snatch, just icing it. Hopefully hasn't caused herself too much damage.
Oh, come on, Anastasia Lysenko. The only junior in the category. Just feeling the big time nerves here. She needs this. Third and final, having failed the first two. 111 kilos. If she misses this, she'll bomb. She will not get an overall total. Well done. She's held it, and there was no wobble there in the elbows, so she should get 3 white lights.
Yes, a good recovery. Not technical perfection, still having to take a few steps forward, but this is a 4-meter square platform. So long as the athlete remains on that platform, feet have to be in line before 3 referees will give you the down signal. It's a great recovery under pressure. Good extension, didn't jump back as far this time, and was able to recover.
I mean, this is a woman with a 1:19 personal best. It was as if she almost didn't pull it as high that time, just relaxed a little bit and got into the groove. She pulled it so high in the previous two. She just had to calm down a little bit. Now, Haridi of Egypt, 112. You see the body weight, 119, so 7 kilos down on body weight. But in actual fact, body weight will only matter if there's a draw, and then the lighter athlete will be ahead.
Well, good position under the bar. Say 112, we'll hopefully see a bit more from her. 116 is her best. Good extension, lots of float. Stands up very easily.
Son of Korea, 7 kilos up on her first, 112.
Not quite to arm's length, swung it overhead. Do you know what I like about this sport is, regardless of body weight, whether you're weighing 50 kilos, whether you're weighing 150 kilos, whether you're 6 foot tall, whether you're 5 foot nothing, it doesn't matter. There's a category here for everybody. So many sports out there are very elitist in that you have to be over 6 foot to be, say, a good rower. But for this sport, it really is inclusive, and anybody can have a go. Anybody can slot in, come in and have a go at the sport and slot into a weight category that's suited.
Absolutely, and of course you might assume weightlifters are perhaps short because it would help, but not at all. I mean, we've seen the likes of Cholikov. What was he, 6'8" in the men's supers? Misha Koklaev, an old pal of mine from strongman days, he's got to be 6'4.5", something like that, and a wingspan of about a 6'8" man, but you can overcome it with great technique and raw power.
I'm way too tall for my category.
I was going to say, yes.
I was told when I was a kid, don't bother, you're too tall, you're too skinny, you're a coat hanger for your clothes, you won't make it in this game. Well, okay, maybe I didn't win medals on a world stage, but you know what, I haven't done too badly, and my height, when I stand next to all the girls I compete against at the same body weight, I'm so much taller. And I love the fact that you can go into schools, you can teach lifting as a life skill. Everybody has to lift, even if it's just carrying your school bag, helping mum and dad with the shopping, lifting a box. Everybody lifts. And, you know, I use this as a sport, a vehicle to teach people how to lift safely.
So Son coming out for 112 on her third and final. She needs to be quicker under the bar. She's going to get this overhead.
Does well to sit. Small step backwards, that's okay.
Good lift, Salma.
Well, it doesn't get much more anaerobic than this sport. You can see these lifters just holding their breath through the lift, and that relief when the bar comes down.
So explosive.
Second attempt.
And yes, you do see stars on occasions after this. You'll be counting them in front of your eyes as you release your breath if you've been holding it too long. Andreea Eanai of Romania, 113, so 5 kilos up.
No lift, Salma Valumbana.
Andreea Eanai, 3 red lights, I'm afraid, and she'll have 1 lift left. So it was a fast snatch deadlift, but obviously doesn't have that in her head right now, so she's, well, how do you overcome that?
Well, it's difficult when you've got that mental block. Part of this game is psychological. You've got to go out there believing you can lift these weights. You cannot pull out halfway through a lift. That's when accidents happen. That's when injuries are much more likely. We're seeing what's that, 110, 115 kilos on the bar.
Yes, so she's lifting lifting more than what we have out on the platform at the moment. And those are just warm-up weights for Meng of China. Kasharina, she might not even be properly warming up yet, because she's probably going to come out last on her own after everyone else is finished and do all 3 lifts. If she takes all 3, of course.
Well, I'd be surprised now if we see a really good attempt. So hard to overcome that psychological difficulty.
She was so far over the bar, wasn't she? You see her starting position, their head down.
No, there's no self-belief in that. You can't come out here without believing 100% in your ability. And it's not just about the physical strength. The mental strength is massive too.
I mean, that was a very good high pull, if that's what you're trying to do. It was almost up to her shoulders. I mean, that surely is high enough for her to get under.
There. You only need the bar waist height. By the time you've fully extended power through the legs, the bar will float. That bar will actually float up to your belly button, bottom of your rib cage. At that point, you should be under the bar, not hanging on, trying to pull it even higher.
Yulia Konovalova of Russia, 115. Very quick and athletic, but she's on her toes. Great recovery.
You see how she went right onto one leg. And we talk about functional stability and the importance of these athletes being well conditioned in all of the joints. The shoulders, the hips, the glutes, the core, everything needs to engage. And when you're in this receiving position, watch how far the bar takes her over to the side, forwards on her toes, being pushed around all over the place, but manages to stabilise before standing up. Great control. She is one of the lighter lifters in the group, just 88 kilos. She's got a big disadvantage over her competitors, carrying a lot less body weight, therefore potentially a lot less muscle.
Yes, she's just about the lightest. Khashoggian, who came out earlier, a kilo lighter. Haridi of Egypt, 116.
Oh, through the shoulders back, but nailed it in the overhead position. Needs to be careful when lowering that weight. Hands must stay on the bar below shoulder height.
Yes, and we've seen lifts failed for that at these games. This is something they'll pick up on. It seems like a small thing. Just.
Moving up on the bar, 120 kilogram, first attempt.
So Shema of Egypt leading the way, 112, 116, 2 good lifts so far. Navalova of Russia, 2 lifts left, and the Mexican in 3rd position from the B group, 114 was her best there. So, first of the Thai girls coming out now, and this will be Kenjan Chok, who is 22 years old, coming for 120 kilograms. This is the heaviest of the competitors in this super heavyweight category. She's got a massive clean and jerk. Very powerful legs.
Left elbow okay? I think she'll get that. 3 white lights.
Yeah, when you put it overhead, it's got to go straight to arm's length and then stay there. And the referees were happy with that.
Well, She's even shaking her left arm out there as if to say, not a great lock.
Yeah, I got away with that one.
Oh, there was movement. That's a good lift. Straight into the competition.
So the lighter of the two Russians, we're still to see, of course, Katerina, who's expected to come in at 145, the highest start. Kovalova then misses 120, and this is a big weight. She is only 88 kilos. For someone as light as she is, personal best?
133.
Okay,
She's
so
quite
still
a way down.
Yeah, well down on that.
But just watch her starting position. As she comes off the floor, she drops her chest, and that's what takes her onto her toes. So hard to recover from there. And most of these lifts are won or lost between the floor and the knees. If you're not in the right position as the bar passes the knees, it's so hard to recover.
Tall woman as well. You can see just how wide her grip is. It's out near the end of the bar.
120 kilograms third attempt, Yulia Konovalova, Russia.
So Konovalova is not going to follow herself. It'll be Haridi of Egypt, who's going to come out at 120. And if Haridi was tough, she'd go to 121. She has done all. So that means it comes straight back on to Konovalova of Russia. So 120 again, having just failed it. And I would say just. She can get this, I'm sure. Because it went to another lifter, you see how little time she's got. You don't get 2 minutes to follow yourself if it goes to someone else and then pass back.
That's so much better. Working hard. You can see the shaking in the arms. Still way down from her personal best, but 120 will do.
Well, we still have 3 lifters to come in. All 3 lifts left, and that's Meng of China, 133. Of course, Saksol of Thailand, 126, and Katerina of Russia, 145. In fact, those that have taken part so far, only Ken Janchuk of Thailand still has lifts left after Haridi. He's going for 1-2-1. So move Haridi from 3rd up to 1st. Guarantee at worst 5th in the snatch competition.
That's disappointing. It was a big attempt. Personal best with 116, which she equalled on her second attempt. 121, not today. Just through her shoulders, a long way back from the bar. That meant she jumped backwards and left the bar in front.
Ken Janchuk strides out purposefully for her second attempt, and it's only 2 kilograms up. Surprisingly small increase. I mean, that's the kind of increase you might see on a second attempt with the very lightest of the women when they're snatching 60, 70 kilograms, but obviously things weren't that good during the first lift.
Well, that was better. Shame, another kilo would have given her a new personal best. That's equal.
That is a good point. So what's she going to go to next, having done 120 and 122?
She's just got a problem maybe with that elbow.
Well, the next lifter's in at 126, so she probably will just follow herself at maybe 124.
Moving up on the bar, 126 kilogram, first attempt.
Well, she's obviously stuck it up to 126. You can hear that in the background, unless, I'll have to wait and see, unless she's going to scratch and just save herself for the clean and jerk. Now there's Katarina, the big favorite, the red-hot favorite for this category, and throughout the entire World Championships, she is the outstanding favorite. You can't say that in any other category, unless, of course, it's Ilya Ilin yesterday. Even if he's pushed all the way, he's still guaranteed to win. He can't lose. And what extraordinary action that was yesterday in the 105s. Now, this is the other tie. Pulsab Sakal, 126 kilograms. So a bit above body weight. Enough to take her right into first on her opening lift. We still have Meng and Katarina to come in, though.
Good lift, Salma.
Just slowly down the stairs there, 3 white lights. Good enough, though, and pulled it high enough. Quite a narrow grip.
Yes, it is. Long way for the bar to travel when your hands are so close. But she performed that with ease. Stays on flat feet for a nice long time. Really good straight position overhead. Well done.
So if she were to put her hands just a little bit wider, of course, the distance needed for it to go overhead would be less and less. But of course, the grip gets harder. That's part of the problem, and indeed the strain on the wrists. Here are the current standings. Pulsab Sakal of Thailand, 126. Kanjanchuk of Thailand, 122. And the Russian back in third. But Meng and Katarina eyeballing each other backstage in the warm-up area. Who's going to come in first? Well, it'll almost certainly be the Chinese. But maybe Katarina will play safe. You never know. And this is Pulsab Sakal coming out. Is she? No, that wouldn't. Well, maybe she is. Maybe she is.
Well, this is a mistake, I think, back in the warm-up room.
Yes, it is. 127.
It's a mistake that happened to me at the games.
Oh, yeah. So that's so they didn't put her increase automatically goes up by 1 kilo, doesn't it?
Yeah, she did 126. Bar went to 127. The coaches have to make a decision on the actual weight she wants to come out on before the clock runs below 30 seconds. By the looks of it, they missed that cut-off, and she's left with a 1 kilo increase, which you just don't do at this level. Unless you're going for a world record or a personal best, maybe on a third attempt, it's a wasted lift.
It is absolutely a wasted lift, especially in this category, because there's such a spread of athletes. And well, we know that Meng's probably going to come in at 130 and Katarina maybe 145. So she should have been up near 130, trying to pressurize Meng on her second lift. And, well, of all mistakes to do, that was a bad one by the coaches. So whatever they do, they've got both their lifters in at the moment, and nobody else does, as it were. So they should be able to time their lifts well here. Kanjanchuk coming out for 128. This is again strange from the coaches. 120 to 122. From the first to the second lift, only 2 kilos up, and then 6 kilos now to the third.
Well, she's left back on 122. You have to wonder whether or not that was a mistake from the coaching staff as well, whether they increased it by the 1 kilo to try and buy her some time and then failed to change it again in time. Either way, she's left on 122 with that failure on 128.
Big time. I'm sure it's a mistake, because if you think 122, she was probably worth 125, 126, and that was her glory lift there at 128. And well, she's now going to be they'll have the Russian and the Egyptian just behind her going into the clean and jerk. She could well struggle to hold on to 4th position, and of course if any one of the top 3 falter, she could have gone on to the podium, so could end up being very costly. Now men's Suping, this is one of the 2 women who are really the favourites for this category. From their predicted form, you could virtually hang the silver medal around her neck now. She's coming in at 130, and then Katarina will come in at 145, the last 2 lifters.
Well, that's one of the quickest lifts that we've seen in the competition so far. Slightly on her toes, hence the step forwards. That's probably a sensible call from the coaches. Brought her starting weight down from 133 down to 130. That puts her in the competition quite comfortably. And this is about medals.
Well, Katarina, 145 her starting total. Perhaps they'll bring that down too, just to be safe.
Moving up on the bar, 132 kilogram. Third attempts. Chinchana Pulsapsakur, Thailand.
Well, the Thai lifter is coming out again. Ken Jan Chok, having done 126, then 127, which we're almost certain is a coaching error, not putting her weight up in time. So 132 now.
Stop, please.
And this will move her in to the lead ahead of Meng.
Oh, that's frustrating. Did you see that? Just about to approach the bar, really focused, and the announcer came on and said, stop. Oh no, carry on. Trying to distract the athlete. Well,
considering her coach has messed up, and the MC, to be fair to him, for the first time in this games, has distracted an athlete through error. Pulsapsakur has great powers of concentration there. That was brilliant lifting, and it's just a shame she didn't have a proper third and final lift now.
Oh, it's very frustrating when the coaches, they only have a simple job. Well, a simple job. They have to stay focused in what they're doing. But when an athlete spends months and months preparing for a massive competition, the biggest competition of the year, for the coaches to mess up, it's really not acceptable.
So Meng coming back out. And I think part of the problem was on the scoreboard. Meng's result wasn't recorded properly. But now it's coming at 130 from the first lift and 135 for her second. Her personal best, 138. She's the Asian champion of 2011. She's got a World Championship silver to her name.
Well, that's comfortable. Hopefully we're going to see a personal best attempt. Let's see Meng out of her comfort zone. That was solid.
On the bar, 136 kilograms.
Well, at her best, actually, it's clean and jerk. That's the discipline she's really good at. She did set a world record in the clean and jerk back in 2012, 188 kilograms, though. One of the reasons we don't see her that often on the big stage, Zhu Lulu of China, who won the Asian Championships recently with yet another new world record for the Chinese with 192, just hasn't come along and has handed over the place to Meng. And right now she's grabbing it, 135, and she could maybe do 140 on her third and final with that big clean and jerk, which is quite similar to what Katarina, the Russian, who's still yet to join this snatch competition, she could push her a little bit. It's possible. And here is Katarina, always looking ice cool. Doesn't waste any energy screaming or shouting or roaming around.
She's left on her own there on the warm-up platform. Coaches are over by the scoreboard, just keeping an eye on what's going on. She's looking over anxiously, saying, come on, hurry up, let me have my go. And she will have finished her warm-up now. Just one athlete remaining. Meng has one final attempt, and then we'll see Katarina. Let's hope, though, that with her being so far out in the lead, with so much potential, that she doesn't come out too complacent. Needs to really fire on all cylinders.
So at the moment, the clock's ticking away for Meng to come out. We've got 2 minutes she's been given because she's following herself from 135 on to 140. Katarina's not brought her start lift down yet, still posted as 145, and whether that's just to scare the Chinese into going for 140 here instead of something a little less. And having seen her 135, I think she can do this, though. As you said, it is above her personal best by 2 kilograms. She really does need it to keep the pressure on Katarina.
Well, 3 from 3, personal best on the World Championship stage in the absence of her teammate and world record holder. Great performance.
So she's done a personal best in the snatch, 140. And let's just remind ourselves that clean and jerk PB, the world record at the World Universities, 188. Now, if she were to do a PB of, I don't know, 3, 4, 5 kilos more, which is always possible in the clean and jerk, suddenly she could go up there and do a world record in the clean and jerk and put pressure on this woman, Katarina, who's going to come out for 145. And if she nails it, then she'll have 5 kilos on the rest of the field going into the clean and jerk, and she'll still have 2 lifts left.
She's coming here angry. She's coming here wound up and wanting her world record back. She didn't need to come out on 145. 141 would have taken the gold on the snatch, but she said, no, hang on a minute. My world record's 151. I'm in good shape. Bring it on.
It's just ridiculously easy. Let's remind you, there's no one else left in the competition now, and she still came out onto the platform 5 kilos after anybody else. I mean, it's almost well, it's not arrogance, it's just brilliance, really. She really did only need 1 kilo more than Meng to take that gold. But yes, you're right. This for her isn't about overall medals in snatch or total. It's about just destroying everyone.
In junior, all records.
And 145 then for Tatiana in her opener has given her the gold in the snatch. And as we thought, here's the big news. 152 has flashed up on the board as the weight she's going for next. 152 kilograms. And her world record is 151, set at the London Olympics. So if she does this, I think she'll probably just sit down and rest and then go to the clean and jerk and get back her world record off of the Chinese there, off of Zhu at 192. And well, if she were to do that, that's a guaranteed world record in the total as well.
Well, it would be. Let's see how she gets on here. This is a pressurized lift now. 7 kilo improvement from her first attempt, which incidentally was fairly comfortable. She obviously believes she's in good shape coming into this. I'm guessing she would have prepared as if going head to head with her big rival. Big rival is not here, so she's out there on her own. And it's hard, you know, it's hard sometimes to get motivated to really get up for these big weights in the absence of somebody to push you.
New snatch world record, 152 kilograms for Tatiana Katarina of Russia. 1 kilo up on her own world record. And that was the easiest world record I've ever seen. And she walks off with the look that she could do
She's
5 kilos more.
Give me 5 more. It's either give me 5 more or 155. But she's going to be, oh, that was just supreme lifting. And she's making a stance here. She is not happy that China have taken away her clean and jerk world record. She's come here to prove a point today.
That is just outstanding.
The quickest, most athletic lifter in this category. Great technique, solid in the receiving position. World class.
See all that power in her legs. You'll see it again in the clean and jerk when she stood up with her world record in the clean and jerk. 2 years ago, it was like nothing. And well, what's she going to go to? 155 is what's being posted. I mean, if she wanted to now, she could just walk away from this clean and jerk and just, this snatch, and just save her energy for the clean and jerk and try and get back the one record she doesn't have. Would that be the sensible thing?
To be honest, if I were in her position, I would be doing what she's doing, and that's just going for it. She's in great shape, and there's only going to be a limited number of times where these athletes are in this kind of shape in their careers. So let's make the most of it. China are going to be coming out at the next competition, at the next Olympics, and trying to break these world records. So let's push it as high as possible now while the opportunity's there.
Well, there's a silver medalist, men Suping, 140 kilos. We know that for sure. And out comes Katarina. She's just broken her own world record, having done 152 kilograms, now to 155. 4 kilos up from what it was just a few moments ago.
It's there.
It's
Small
there with
step
ease.
Forwards, no problems. 155. 4 kilos up on the world record.
4 kilos up, and that's got to be one of the biggest percentage breakages there's ever been in weightlifting, and that was really phenomenal.
Well, she nearly broke a smile as she walked off the platform. Only halfway through the competition, needs to stay focused because it's the clean and jerk record that she's come here for. So it's so easy to celebrate and go crazy after such an impressive lift, but she's a professional athlete. She knows what she's got to do. That's only half the job done.
That's around about 3% increase on the world record, and it's normally just a kilogram. But here today, 4 kilos up, 2 world records as it were, 152 and then 155. Tatiana Katarina of Russia, head and shoulders above the rest. She started above the rest and then annihilated her own world record. Now to 155. Suping of China, 140 in the silver medal position, and Pulsab Sakal of Thailand gets the bronze medal, 10 kilos ahead of her Thai compatriot in 4th.
Don't blend in. Mocha from Vauxhall.
All right, Keith.
All right.
Thought your party was last week.
Oh, what this? Well, the shop doesn't want it back till tomorrow, so...
Like getting your money's worth? Try the 99p cheeseburger, part of the